However, needs 8 for a title. Bang!
There's the emotion. There it is.
Boom! Jordan Richard.
Champion again.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Victory Lanes here in Mooresville, North Carolina. The start of the 2024 PWBA Mooresville Regional Stepladder Finals. The top 4 been determined, certainly led by the top seed Annalise O'Brien from Ball Ground, Georgia, an astounding plus 183. When you look at the field, folks, there were just 2 players who were plus. Those are your top 2 seeds. Caitlin Stoll from right here, or I should say nearby, Charlotte, North Carolina. A wonderful back 3 to get to plus 57. Daphne Smith from Simpsonville, South Carolina. She is third, finishing at -9. She is the number 3 seed. She will face Rachel Stout, formerly Rachel Albright from Fremont, Ohio, the former collegiate All-American at Ursula. So it'll be Rachel Stout versus Daphne Smith in the opening match. Caitlin Stoll will be waiting in the wings as the number 2 seed. Annalise O'Brien is making back-to-back regional shows. In fact, back-to-back top seed appearances for Annalise O'Brien. Took a heartbreaker, finished second at Myrtle Beach in that regional. They tied 212 to 212 in the finals. Went to a roll-off where Annalise O'Brien fell 10-9. She has a chance to avenge that here today. Again, as the number 1 seed, she'll have 1 game to take home today's crown. Again, good afternoon. Hello to Julie and Jeff and everyone who is watching here in the Bowl TV chat. And, of course, this will be available in the archives on bowltv.com as the U.S. Open Stepladder Finals continues on here on some of the television inside Victory Lanes. This very bowling center hosted the 2019 U.S. Open. As we get you prepared for Stout versus Smith. I will need to take a small break away from the headset to try to make sure Lane Talk scoring is working on our streaming computer near the lanes. So here's today's lane condition. Again, 42 feet, 2024 PWBA Mooresville Regional. 27.4 mils, 42 feet in distance. Again, very similar to what the players saw in Myrtle Beach. Similar ratios as well, and it played very, very tough, folks. And I would anticipate it to play still very difficult on the fresh. You cannot miss right or left, whether you're right or left-handed. It can certainly be detrimental. We saw that a lot in the first 3 to 4 games. Daphne Smith, the higher seed, has chosen to have Rachel Stout begin the match. We got a nice little crowd here, folks. Again, one more time. Good evening and welcome to the 2024 PWBA Mooresville Regional Stepladder Finals. My name is Emil Williams Jr. 4 talented finalists led by Annalise O'Brien at plus 183. She is your top seed. But right now, Rachel Stout, the number 4 seed, opening against Daphne Smith, will start right here on Bowl TV. And as soon as Lane Talk starts, that message will get out of the way. Early 8-pin for Rachel. And the match's first open frame, unfortunately, too, for Rachel. And I'm sure there could be a few nerves involved as Daphne Smith, we will see Daphne for the first time. Daphne's got a nice support system. Tracy Bolin, who I know from the Chicagoland area, she calls Daphne her bowling mom. They met when Tracy moved to this area of the country in 2009. First shot for Daphne Smith. She's got a hook. And the old bucket and a biscuit, as my good friend Aaron Smith would say. It's a good spare from Daphne Smith, and now through the face, leaving a 6-10. Again, no spoilers for the U.S. Open for those of us who will not see it. I might try to download it and maybe watch it on my flight home. Who we rooting for in the chat, by the way? Let me know. I see a few players rooting for Annalise, always strong in that ball ground, Georgia, in the Atlanta area. Daphne Smith, age 43. She performed pretty well on the fresh. It was games 7 and 8 where she basically was just trying to stay in the mix for a spot in the top 4, and I think she has certainly done that very well here. So back over to Rachel Stout, formerly Rachel Albright, husband Cody. Shout out to their 18-month-old son Colson. Albright missed an 8-pin, left a light shaker, resulted in an 8-pin leave, and then missed it. Let's see if she can get back on track here. That's got a push through the nose, and she will leave a 3-6. Stout said she would be using maybe a couple of bowling balls. One might be a virtual energy blackout, phase 2, but that ball looks to be either of those. It's hard to tell from my vantage point. Albright was a standout at Ursuline College, originally from Genoa, Ohio, now living in Fremont, Ohio. All right, good spare. Gets her on the board. It's important. As someone now in her position, she's a nurse, and so kind of after college went into nursing, and then hasn't really been bowling a ton, and so she's trying to get back into that high level of consistent competition. And she told me pre-match that she wanted to get back into it, and here she is, and she's added certainly some confidence by advancing to the finals here tonight. Third frame. That was a pretty good shot. I think that was certainly her best of the match to this point. Both players seem to be in a similar zone. It'll be interesting to see how Caitlin Stoll will attack the lanes. Again, Caitlin is the number 2 seed. Her rev rate is higher than both of those players. But she had some struggles, some serious struggles on the fresh. I shouldn't say too serious, but for one, Caitlin did not carry, especially game 1. The pins were not kind to her. She started on 25 and 26, I remember that. Then went 170, 175, 175 specifically. She told me, Caitlin, that is, she was going to try a couple of trains of thought, try a couple of different things. So we'll see what she ends up going with. But she's got to have an opponent. All right, much better shot on this spare for Rachel Stout. She's got some history. Again, speaking of Rachel, got some collegiate history, as we mentioned, multi-time All-American. Now back to Smith. Clean through 2, as you can see. Let's get a different view. Oh, and then that one just kind of the old can opener there. Little pin view of ball motion, slightly angled. Not enough time and not enough cable to make the moves that we would prefer to make in this situation. Big thank you to the Crines here, Paul, our proprietor here, Paul Crines, and his son Ben, and the entire staff here at Victory Lanes. Always a wonderful place to certainly visit, take in bowling, and the same can be said today. Clean through 3, now is Daphne Smith. And I mentioned she finished -9. She started 226, 188, 236, 201. Those were her first 4 games today, followed by 183 and 206. I mentioned, and she said games 7 and 8, she was just trying to leave stuff she could make. She went 165, 186 to hang inside the number. So she finishes at -9. Been bowling for 25 plus years at this point. She finished 8th in Myrtle Beach last month. Oh, and the 4.57 carries. You can hear, I don't think you can hear it from here, but Tracy Boland. Actually, one of the players, her bowling mom, as she put it. Putting in the work here. That was the first strike for either competitor. Now back to Rachel Stout. With plenty of confidence. Oh, great shot. Right now, the difference is that missed 8-pin from Rachel Stout to begin the match. It's a 9-pin lead for Smith through 4 frames. Emil Williams Jr. here with you. Appreciate everyone tuning in on Bowl TV and those of you who will be checking this out via the archives. I mentioned earlier who you got. A lot of Annalise. I see some Daphne Smiths in there. Rachel Stout, that's got to get up the hill. Oh, the carry for Rachel Stout. Starting to, as Karina just mentioned in the chat, settle in. I would agree with that for both players, actually. Those of us who have had the privilege to bowl in a stepladder final, imagine that the nerves certainly are there no matter what. And so even if it's just a regular tournament, You know, those first couple frames can be a bit tricky. You just try to control that heart rate. Smith carries again. Daphne Smith with a big-time double in frames 4 and 5. I mentioned that 8th place finish in Myrtle Beach. Again, on a very similar lane condition. Speaking of awards, she is someone who has won at the national level. She holds a Diamond Team Championship from 2017 at the USBC Women's Championships with teammates Kayla Bandy, Jennifer King, and Michelle Smith. Looking to make it 3 in a row. Bang. Smith now with 3 in a row. And she started this game, folks, with the old bucket and the biscuit. That's the bucket with the 7-pin. And the shots have gotten better and better and better as this match has now gone on. That's good, Kim. Loud. It is somewhat loud. I've tried to manage my headphone volume with what is happening, and it's a full house. I mean, we got open play on the low end, and we've got regional bowling and some great carry down on the high end. See if replay works today. Watch that late 7-pin. There it is. Oh, that worked wonderfully. Count the chickens before they hatch, Emil. Don't do that. Stout keeps it close as we head to frame 7. Back into the game. That's got a hook. Wow, and the late love tap on the 10 on a ball that looked like it wasn't going to hook. It's amazing to me when you can get to a stepladder final, and we've seen this a lot, at least I have certainly, where a pattern can look impossible throughout an entire qualifying round. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. The amount of players in the field, skill level, etc. And then you get folks or players, 4 or 5 on a pair, the same pattern, where strikes, you couldn't buy a strike if they were giving them away, and all of a sudden, both players coming out hot. Week 10 there for Daphne Smith, and it's funny. All of a sudden, we get to a point where it could be a situation all of a sudden where it's the first person to miss. May not win this match. Look at the 10-pin. See that 6-pin just kind of be a little bit lazy right there. Stepped out of it, but handled the spare with ease. And as we get down to crunch time, big thanks to, again, the United States Bowling Congress and the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, all of our goal partners, BrunswickGoBowling.com, Kegel, Lane Talk, and Storm. And, of course, the scoring here provided by Lane Talk. Rachel Stout versus Daphne Smith. Smith, the number 3 seed. Stout, the number 4 seed. Caitlin Stull from Charlotte, North Carolina, 30 minutes away, is the number 2 seed waiting in the wings of the next match. Big shot from Daphne. Oh, my. A little bit lazy down lane, and Daphne Smith now in some trouble. 8-10. Well, obviously, she'd love to make this, but the count is crucial, especially at this point in the match. Does not get count. So 1 is 2 in that situation. So max score is now 222 for Daphne Smith. The next 2 frames for Rachel Stout will be telling. Daphne will have an opportunity to stay alive and possibly take this match in advance to match number 2. Stout has been exceptional, especially these last 4 frames. That looks a little bit left. It's a lot left. Oh my goodness. What a break. Sometimes you gotta miss a lot left to get what you need. Let's see that one here. This one's going to be immediate. It was left off her hand. Thought the 6-pin was going to stand, and they get to love tap. If Stout does not strike here, there's a chance potentially for Daphne. That's a big ask, and Rachel Stout says, I am not here to help. I am going to continue to strike. Make it 6 in a row. Smith could put a little bit of pressure, but she'd have to strike here and certainly get, love all 3 in the 10th. And now that's a bucket. And this one is coming to an end, unfortunately, for Daphne Smith. She owns a team in the Underground Bowling Association. Shout out to the UBA. The Spartansburg Savages. She is a team owner. Also a part of the South Carolina State USBC Hall of Fame. As Daphne Smith, an accomplished player. Again, a diamond team champion at the USBC Women's Championships. This will be now back-to-back top 10 finishes in PWBA regionals. She said she would bowl as many as she could, especially the close ones, and obviously for her specifically, doesn't get much closer than Myrtle Beach and North Carolina as a Simpsonville, South Carolina resident. I certainly hope to see her bowl some additional events, hopefully even on the national tour, the Queens, etc. You know, Melissa, thank you for that, by the way, because that, you know, you look at some things on the standings on the roster and you go, that seems a little odd, but hey, I don't know if people move or not. Who am I to say? Well, thank you, President. Caitlin Stoll. Coming up next, she is going to face Rachel Stout as Daphne Smith finishes officially with 180. If she doesn't leave the 8-10 there in the 8th, it's obvious that we have a different game. But if she leaves something makeable, I think that it's still a different game because, you know, that was kind of a deflating leave. But she bowled great. I was not in Myrtle Beach, and so very happy to see her in person. Excellent tournaments, and I hope to see her not only on the regional tour, but on the national tour. Meanwhile, Rachel Stout is really starting to show how and why she was a multi-time All-American at Ursuline. She also finished second at the U20 Junior Gold Championships back in 2012. Again, spent some time getting into her nursing career, and now she is trying to get back into competitive bowling. I tell you what, folks, someone who didn't necessarily like the fresh a little bit. You know, she was like, she handled this with ease. But she will, looks like she will make a ball change, which is a smart move here. She's got the match locked up. You anticipate Caitlin Stoll to be ready to go. And for Caitlin, kind of feeling like she's on, house money, if you will. After 3 games, she was just trying to get to plus. Didn't even know if it was going to be possible, let alone make the top 4. Oh, that might have been an even better shot. Consistency typically will get you into a good spot, generally speaking. Great comment, Dan. Especially on the hard, as we say, the difficult lane conditions. If you're consistent and can make spares, which is exactly what Daphne did today. I think she told me she missed like one makeable spare that wasn't a split. That's all you can ask for. All right, officially in the books now. Rachel Stout, 255. Rachel Stout, 255. Daphne Smith, 180. Again, congrats again to Daphne Smith. Great bowler. Daphne will take home $550 for her 4th place finish today. The champion will take home $1,600. Second place will be $800. Third will be $650. We did pay 18 players, or will pay ultimately 18 players. So 18th place got a check. 18th today was Marissa Allison, one of our PWBA members. She was finished 18th at minus 132 and earned the final prize check. Haley Swindle finished 17th. April Stone Mills, who was in the top 5 or the top 4 for about 6 games, and unfortunately the 7th game was the difference. She finished 16th. Tracy Boland finished 15th. Looks like there was a 3-way or a tie for 14th or 13th, excuse me. Amber McLeod finished 12th. Amber had some really good moments today. I thought she was going to make a run late. Ashley Scott, shout out to Ashley. Good to see Ashley and Dan Hawk. And folks, I mentioned this earlier in the broadcast way back this morning, but Ashley's doing some great work for Strike Against Suicide, Spare a Life. So if you hear that cause and it resonates with you, make sure you visit Ashley Scott on Facebook and learn more about that. Also, there is now a dedicated Facebook page and Instagram account for Strike Against Suicide and Spare a Life. It is a military-based suicide prevention organization. Doing good work there. Savannah Talon finished 10th today. Amy Jones was 9th. Courtney Jacques was 8th. Rena Sabo, who gave it a great run. She shot 247 in Game 7, but did not have enough in Game 8 to hang on. She finished 7th. Katie Savali was solid. She finished 6th at minus 80. And Avery Dumigan was a 7-10 away from knocking out Rachel Stout to earn the final spot. Dumigan finishes 5th at minus 72. So we turn our attentions to 2 of the best youth bowlers in the country. This is like a junior gold final, ladies and gentlemen, what we're about to be treated to. A semifinal match featuring the number 2 seed, Caitlin Stoll, and, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I see these 2 names on the screen, and I'm like, oh, I fast-forwarded already. That could be the championship match. But we're not there yet. Caitlin Stoll is going to face the number 4 seed, Rachel Stout. But on your screen, I didn't lie. there are two of the best youth bowlers in the country. I'm going to make a quick graphic change. I'm going to get a little bit of water, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about this semifinal match. Stoll versus Stout next on Bowl TV.
I don't know when Queens is. One. I think it's in June. We've got a cruise in June to Alaska, so that's a little. So I don't know. But I'll see you around. I will. I see your post on Facebook. Yeah, we're not. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.
That's called pool or billiards. When you get older, because you can't really see up at the table. The table's a little too tall. But at the pool, we can.
All right, folks. If you joined me earlier, I was talking about between the crew and getting accustomed and figuring out our lane talk integration. And you want to make sure you have 2 people before you, or if you're going to use it, in case something needs some changing and et cetera and so forth. Everything was great. And I asked one of our crew members, hey, have you ever used this in a stepladder final? But no, but theoretically it should work the same. But there is a small little item I just found that I will need to alert everyone to. So we got the names, the right names, that is. Rachel Stout, Caitlin Stoll through 2. First open there for Stout. Caitlin Stoll and our USBC president she'll laugh when I say this next point, but first it's Stout here, 3rd frame. That's a much better shot. And a 4-pin. That was a very good shot there from Rachel Stout. In fact, it was so good, I think. Try to watch that one again. Yeah, something to think about for Rachel is both she and Daphne Smith were in that same area of the lane, and so you would imagine that the fronts might be starting to go a little bit. So that's something she's going to have to keep in mind. That's probably already a 1-1, maybe parallel, potentially. This is match 2 of the semifinal of the PWBA Mooresville Regional. My name is Emil Williams Jr. On behalf of Bowl TV, we say thank you for subscribing to Bowl TV. If you bought an event pass this weekend, we thank you as well. Oh my, that's the second single pin miss that Rachel has had on the scorecard. One in the, in fact, frame 1 of the opening match versus Daphne Smith. She missed an 8-pin and now a 4-pin miss. That's back-to-back opens. And, for Caitlin Stoll, although she's only 16, which I did not know. And I asked her, Caitlin, how old are you before the match? And she goes, 16. And I went, really? And she said, yeah, how old do you think I was? I'm like, I thought you were much closer to 18. As the wiggle on the 2, that is a 2-8. Stoll, who finished 3rd in the U18 Girls Junior Gold Championships, won by Gianna Brandolino. 5 Storm U Championship titles. She is the PBA Junior National Champion from 2023. Multiple top 10 finishes at Junior Gold at this point as well. And the list of accolades, and those are the only things that we talked about, folks. I asked her, anything else you want me to mention? She's like, nah, I mean, there's some other stuff. And so these two now trading opens here in the 3rd frame, but still with a small advantage. 13-pin lead after 3. Still wasting no time to get back at it here in frame number 4. Big shot. Right now, Stoll 2 for 2 on the left lane. See if that will play a role. Stout now through the nose, 3-6, 7-10, and all of a sudden Rachel locked in, 2:55 in game 1. Starts with a strike here in match 2. Now back-to-back opens and looking at a possible third. Maybe a ball return, perhaps, that we're waiting on. Yep. It made it back. Had to get that interchangeable thumb out. Move it to what she is using as a spare ball. This could be a big moment either way. If she misses this, you know, Stoll's going to try to immediately put the hammer down. If she makes this, could be a momentum shift. It's 3 consecutive opens now for Rachel Stout. Again, if the name sounds unfamiliar to you, if I were to throw out the name Rachel Albright, that might, again, ring a little bit of a different bell. That is her maiden name. 30 years of age, again, a nurse from Fremont, Ohio. I'll be a little quick there, and it leaves a 2-8. But you'd hate to be able to just kind of, or have to just quickly move from an area of the lane that you just shot 255 on, right? And I was talking about how a pattern could be so difficult for essentially a full 8 games. Look so simple with 2 players who were bowling very well on it in match number 1, and now, of course, Stout with the 255, and she's struggling trying to just leave something she can make. Hook, hook, hook. Oh, nice. It got there. That's a sigh of relief. That's a nice exhale opportunity there. You know, you can kind of stop the reeling a little bit. If you're a fan of Rachel, and maybe you know her from a family perspective and you don't mind saying hello in the chat, I'd love to hear from you. I kept watching her ball roll today, and I go, I've seen her bowl. I mean, her ball roll is pretty solid. It's, you know, it's what you'd like to see. Stole. Dang, and that's what you'd like to see there from Caitlin, her first double. And now she's going to go to the left lane where she is 2 of 2 at the moment and try to turn 2 into 3. Oh, 7-pin goes. A little 5-pin. The light mixer. She turns 2 into 3 indeed. Again, on the lane that to this point was her good lane, or has been her good lane. She's been perfect on it. And now that the trouble is certainly mounting for Rachel Stout. She's got to get something going. It looks like maybe a ball change there. Hard to tell from my angle. But it resulted in a 9-pin, nearly a 4-9 situation. All right, back-to-back spares for the 30-year-old. Talked about confidence, and she now has more of said confidence at this point. An understanding of where she is competitively, you know, getting back into it at this level. It sounded like she is planning to bowl a few more. 310. Also an area of the lane where we talked about, she was kind of playing in two parts during the qualifying earlier. She's out around 6'7", but she was kind of pointing it, and that's what we've seen here. She's been pointing, the angle going right to left, and then I think later in the block, she had the parallel left and get into the track area. But she might be in that situation where she just might have to jump in. Nice spare. Max score for Stout now at the moment is 191. And of course, Caitlin Stoll, she's got 4 strikes, including the last 3 for the 2023 PBA Junior Girls National Champion. Push? Maybe no. She had to withdraw, unfortunately, at this year's Team USA trials due to a finger injury, a finger infection. I talked to her about it before we began this morning just to check to see if she was good. And asked her, was her health okay? Was she 100%? She said yes, and then kind of explained, the situation at team trials where she basically had to go. She said she went from a half grip size to 2.5. Essentially, that's how large her finger was in an attempt to get inside the ball, get her finger in the bowling ball, and obviously release with, I'm sure there was going to be pain no matter what, but she made an effort and then, said, hey, it's not what I want to do, but I probably shouldn't be bowling right now. So she withdrew, but she's good. And now, at this point, folks, just a few frames away from an opportunity to win a PWBA regional against one of the best players or fellow youth players, and Annalise O'Brien, our top seed. High flush for Caitlin Stoll. I give a shout out to my man Nolan Hughes, who is doing a lot of work right now at this very moment. At the U.S. Open, in Indianapolis. But I remember when I first met Nolan and just kind of communicating, he often mentioned the talent levels in North Carolina, which, of course, he is from Raleigh. His sister, Isabel, bowled today, and I met their dad. And then he wrote a story for Bowler's Journal about said talent in North Carolina. And I remember shortly after that, I finally got a chance to really watch Caitlin Stoll bowl in person, and I understood everything. And then I was also treated to some good history about some players that I actually didn't really realize or didn't know were from this state as well. For Rachel Stout, couple of splits, missed a single pin. But realistically, as the scorecard says, she just couldn't get anything going. And if she's able to start with a double or triple or even just remain clean through the first 3 frames, this could be different as she, maybe make some confident moves to try to get back to the 1-3 on a consistent basis. When you start or have the start that she did, that puts a lot of unwarranted, unnecessary pressure, right? Because now you got to force it to a degree. You're behind, so you're thinking like, all right, maybe I am good here, but you try to do something that maybe you shouldn't do, and but very impressed with, for someone who has been out of high level bowling for a minute, and coming out here and planning to bowl more. Shooting 255 out the gate, did what she had to do to make the top 4, was around the top 4 for the majority of the day, was out of it for a little bit, for about a game or 2, then solidified her spot. It's nice to see, a former All-American, kind of get back to it. And that's the type of player that only makes, potentially, she is not a member, but potentially make the PWBA as a whole stronger. And there it is, folks. Caitlin Stull is going to advance to the championship match. She will face the number 1 seed, Annalise O'Brien. The 1 versus the 2. And, folks, these are the only 2 players that ended up plus after 8 games today. And, but you got to give all the credit to Annalise O'Brien. She finished at plus 183. And she started out, folks, just on fire. She went 209, 239, 212. That 239 in the middle, in fact, at the end of the 208 or 209, she went back 5 for 209. And then I think she had the front something into the 239 game. It was clear she had one of the best looks, if not the best look in the building at that point. 212, 188, games 3 and 4. Then 214, 267, and that was kind of the one in game 6 where I was like, okay, this is Annalise O'Brien's to lose, honestly. And everyone else has got to, have a fight to just get into the top 4 and have a chance to beat her, because she was going to be the number 1 seed. Now the question is, will the lanes and her execution lead her to a championship? She was close last month. She lost to Carson Lukosius after a roll-off. Caitlin Stull. 224 for Caitlin Stull, as we will watch Rachel Stout finish things out. A 16-year-old puts a regional stepladder finals win on the resume. Will she win a championship? Certainly that is TBD. It's fair there for Rachel. Again, shout out to their 18-month-old son, her husband, her and her husband, Cody, have an 18-month-old son named Colson. Rachel Albright, again, the former first-team All-American. She's back in high-level competition, folks, and that's a great sign for, again, women's bowling, because you want the best of the best. You want former collegiate players bowling regionals and bowling national tour stops. We appreciate Rachel. She will finish and earn a 3rd-place finish here, and will take home $650 for her efforts today. The championship match is set. Now, I can officially say, 2 of the best youth bowlers in the country, in the world, will bowl for the Mooresville regional title. Both of them are under 19. O'Brien, 19. Stull, 16. I'll repeat, a 19-year-old number 1 seed will face the 16-year-old number 2 seed to win a Professional Women's Bowling Association regional title, live from Mooresville, North Carolina. I didn't make that up, folks, and we will watch it live next here on Bowl TV. What a final match we should have here for you. Again, Annalise O'Brien, the 5-time Junior Team USA member at this point. Of course, Caitlin Stahl, also a member of Junior Team USA. If you joined me in the previous match, I will briefly step away and hopefully figure out the small little quirk I'll need to handle to make sure the names show in the proper order for our scoring. Stephanie in the chat. I see Patrick Martinez. If you are joining us and perhaps you've watched the U.S. Open already, there's been a request from multiple people. Please do not spoil said U.S. Open finals. I haven't seen it, and several others haven't yet as well. So please be courteous of your fellow Bowl TV viewer. All right, folks. Championship match is underway, and a rare miscue from O'Brien. An opening frame missed 10-pin. After getting to the 1-3, she threw a couple shots that did not get there, and a couple of washouts during the practice time. After Stoll opens the match, O'Brien, again the number 1 seed, allowed Stoll to start first. And I think what I saw in practice with a different bowling ball a little further right, she's moved a little further left. Speaking of Annalise, won 4 medals representing Junior Team USA in Peru at the Pan American Games last year, including a couple of golds, both in team events. 2 bronze medals, 1 in doubles, 1 in all events. 2 U15 Junior Gold Championship titles back-to-back. O'Brien was one player that I'll never forget. And there was a few players in my Junior Gold history that at the very early ages, like in the U12 division, you watch the U12, and of course our U12 bowlers are so talented these days, but you walk by and you go, wow, that young lady, or that young man, in this case, that young lady throws it great, and she might be 10 years old. That was Annalise O'Brien. Stoll, good break there, just a 2-pin. If you're just joining us, the match recap. In our opening match, Rachel Stout, the number 4 seed, defeated Daphne Smith, the number 3 seed, 255 to 180. And then in the previous match, match number 2, Caitlin Stoll shot 224. Rachel Stout unable to really get anything going. She started slow out the gates and just couldn't find the right opportunity to the 1-3. And Stoll advanced, and here we are in the championship match. Again, top seed O'Brien, 19 years old. Second seeded Stoll, 16 years old, will be 17 this year. O'Brien will be 20 coming up in a few months as well. This literally is the future of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. We could see Caitlin Stoll and Annalise O'Brien face off in championship matches for years to come when they get to that point professionally. What a shot by Caitlin Stoll, and still seems to enjoy the left lane. She starts out just like she did in the last match, 2 for 2 on the left lane. For Annalise, her mom and dad are here. Mom celebrating her birthday in these past couple of days. And certainly they had a birthday dinner, I believe it was yesterday. And now, of course, there could be the old proverbial icing on the cake, if you will, the real birthday present, if O'Brien can bring home the championship. Third frame. Like that one. Annalise has got this kind of step back a little bit. The fist pump, or I should say the right hand begins to form into a fist, and then she'll kind of step back, get into a small crouching position. That's when you know she liked the shot, is expecting the proper results. Good spare. See how close she was to not leaving a 9-pin. Oh, we won't because it didn't work. That's great. All right, it's working. I don't think we're going to get there. Love it when it's not working. Don't we love that, chat? We love that, don't we? looking for her first strike. And she won't get it in frame number 4, 3-6-10. And, for kind of similar start to what we saw in the Stout match. Only difference is, both players, I should say, really didn't have a command of the pocket. I do feel that Annalise is a little bit closer into seeing what she wants as opposed to Rachel was at the beginning of the match. However, obviously Annalise is yet to strike. Caitlin Stoll, I think, is very confident, sees from a ball motion perspective, is seeing everything she wants to see. And you can't let players, can't let them get comfortable. And O'Brien is trying not to do that. I don't think the lane right now is allowing her to. All right, let's try it again. That was nearly a 7-9, as you saw there. Caitlin will take this opportunity for a re-rack, and I will take this opportunity to thank all of our gold partners here at Brunswick. GoBowling.com, Kegel, official lane maintenance provider, PWBA, Lane Talk, the official scoring provider of the PWBA, and Storm Bowling. Thank you to Victory Lanes. Caitlin Stoll. 10 pin, no. No messenger. Pin to work with here in the 4th frame. It's been strike, single pin, strike, single pin. That's the pattern for Caitlin Stoll, and the pattern continues as we head to frame number 5. Stoll versus O'Brien. 2 Junior Team USA members. Again, Caitlin with obviously more years ahead of her on junior team. And a 4-pin. First non-strike on the left lane now for Caitlin Stoll, but you see what the situation is for her. It's strike or single pin. Yeah, you don't want to see the 4-pin, 10-pin reaction, but I think in this situation, especially watching what her opponent is doing, Caitlin might be all right with what she is currently leaving. Again, the winner of this will earn an automatic spot into match play, and wow, a single pin miss here for Caitlin Stoll. And if you're Annalise O'Brien, you just got a little bit of life. Not that she was out of it by any stretch. She was not. But there's a small little bit of confidence there. If she strikes here, we got ourselves a match. Some of us are now starting to look at the clock. Of a 10:40 flight. Am I going to make it? I think so. Wow. I think she felt good about that one. The last 2 on this right lane, for sure, she thought were going to be 10 down. Ball change for O'Brien, and that results in a 9-pin. Wow. So she moves to a GB4 hybrid, which is the ball she went to, as I was describing, in the back half of game number 1, way back in qualifying this morning. She threw the back 5 for 209. It was a clutch ball change late and kind of sent her off and running. And briefly tried to get just some info on what she was throwing from her dad, Doug. It looks like she may go GB4 on the left lane, Piranha on the right lane. I'm guessing it'd be an IQ Ruby for Caitlin Stoll. Jeff, I just noticed that you said that a cat ran across your keyboard, and I'm not sure what to do with that information. Big shot. Boy, that was all 10 down. Without hesitation right there. Very clutch as O'Brien still yet to strike. No strikes through 6 frames, 1 single pin miss. Caitlin Stoll, her pattern was strike, single pin spare, strike, single pin spare. Then she missed a 4-pin. No, I'm sorry. She missed a... forgot what she missed now. But she struck in the 6th, obviously. Can she double? She can. That's the sign of a great champion right there. You make a mistake and you follow it up with a double immediately. Pulliam is. There's a story about cats. It's not for this stepladder finals, but it is a good qualifying story. So we'll get to it at some point in the qualifying round. Let's just say they think they own my backyard. That's all I'm going to say about it. I got news for them. O'Brien in a must-strike situation without a doubt. Again, staying with that Piranha on the right lane, and finally able to strike. Thank you, Gene and Melissa. Missed the 4-pin, speaking of Stoll. Still with life. If she doubles here, we'll be looking at just a 15-pin deficit. GB4 hybrid on the left lane. Pin Q. Oh my. And there you see the 7 count there. That was almost a must-have. O'Brien again making back-to-back regional stepladder finals, folks. Top 4. She was 2nd last month in January at Myrtle Beach. She and Carson Lukosius tied at 212. 1-ball roll-off. Lukosius won 10-9. And here she is again. 2 players who are the future of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. O'Brien, despite the early miscue, is one mistake away, one Caitlin Stoll mistake away from possibly maybe stealing a match. But Stoll can shut all of that down in frames 8 and 9. She buried the last 2. Is it 3? That's through the nose in the old 3, 6, 9, 10. Now, you don't want to see that, especially at this point, at this juncture in the championship match. obviously a gazillion ways to make it and miss it. It's too many options for one spare. It's a day where non-members that led the way, or seven members. Great spare by Caitlin Stahl. There were 7 members in the field this week. All 7 bowled in the Bowl with the Pros event here at Mooresville. And we even had Haley Swindle, one of our past regional champions from a year ago, out there competing as well. Back score 214. Big shot here for Stahl. Needs it. 9th frame. Bang. Caitlin Stahl. Stone cold look in the 9th. What a shot there from Stahl. And she had to have one. She doesn't strike there. She leaves the door. And the door is still slightly open, potentially, for Annalise O'Brien. But she would have left the door wide open for O'Brien to maybe walk through. But Annalise is going to finish first. Her max score is 203. If she can get there, she would force Stahl to then show up in the 10th frame. And the count situation would suggest she'd need a double. First things first. Oh, when she had to have it, her second strike, probably the best strike, and she absolutely buried that shot. Wow. I'm not sure you can throw it better than that when you need it. That was a must-have shot to give yourself an opportunity to win the title. In the 9th frame, bang. That's about as good as it gets, folks. Both she and Caitlin Stahl have done just about everything you would ask of players at this level, this magnitude. Folks, they're still youth bowlers. Are you serious? 10th frame, O'Brien. Needs a break, not going to get it. And now the ball is solely in the court here of Caitlin Stahl. If O'Brien makes the spare and strikes, that's 183. Caitlin would need a mark in the 10th. So count on the fill will be very important for O'Brien. What a treat this is to watch the future. And obviously I don't compete on the PWBA tour, but I do feel like I'm a part of it. I've been involved in this role and other roles for 8 seasons. And if you don't get excitement and enjoy watching the future, something's not right with you. This is a clutch. Phil had to have it. Oh, the 7-pin had other plans. That was huge. So 9 out from Stahl is 182. She has to mark. If she does not, O'Brien is going to take home the Mooresville Regional Championship here in 2024. Mark and Caitlin Stahl as a regional champion. It's on the lane. Bang! And there it is. Caitlin Stahl the 2024 PWBA Mooresville Regional Champion. Needed a mark, and the best mark you can get, as we all know in our sport, is all 10 down. What a match that looked like Stoll was just kind of going to run away with it for a little bit. But Annalise, by virtue of her spare game, despite missing that first one in the a 10-pin in the first frame, wasn't rattled. You saw the composure from both players, and ends up making this a match where Stoll has to mark in the 10 to win it. Caitlin Stoll, the resume continues to grow. Add Mooresville Regional Champion, and now she's earned herself a spot in the Regional Showdown in December. A spot directly into match play if she chooses to accept it. What a finish. Should be a brief on-lane presentation from our tournament director here today, Damon Sirocco. Our final score, 200 to 183. And for the second consecutive month, Annalise O'Brien will finish second at a regional tournament. But North Carolina's own Caitlin Stoll, she wanted to win it. Certainly, she said it would mean a lot if she were to win this one in her home state, and she has done just that. You know, what Annalise is going through is kind of reminding me of what we see a lot of great talent go through, right, every now and then, where you do have to learn how to win, right? And I think she knows how to win, but you know, it's just part of those growing pains of great athletes. And, boy, Annalise O'Brien, we all know how she showed it, right? She's going to win a lot. And I think when she starts winning, it's not going to stop. But today belongs to Caitlin Stoll. Scrub proprietor Paul Crines. Caitlin Stoll will need to get a couple of photos. I think Damon is going to handle that on behalf of one Gene Koenig. Gene, I know you've been busy. Great week out there at U.S. Open, you and Donovan. So you and Donovan essentially handling two tournaments today. You got a U.S. Open to write about and a PWBA Mooresville Regional to write about. We appreciate your efforts. We're going to try to have Caitlin on for just a couple of questions. Here, I tell you, folks, if you love our sport, then you got to love the youth and where it's headed, without question. That's a young lady who's got a lot of collegiate decisions to make. I know the doors and the phone calls, and there's a lot of knocks and a lot of phone calls to answer from a recruiting perspective. We're going to get Caitlin here. Hold on one second. I appreciate you. All right, folks, let's get, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, move this part a little closer to you. Okay, and give me 1 minute. All right, Caitlin Stoll, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, congratulations. First of all, I know the day was not easy, right? The day essentially didn't reflect what we just watched, but ultimately you come away as this champion today. Can you describe to the best of your abilities at this moment how you're feeling, considering how the day started during qualifying this morning? You weren't even sure you were going to be at this point.
I'm feeling pretty good. Considering how I started on fresh this morning, I didn't think I'd end up in this position. So it's just really nice to see that I was able to fight through all the, hard conditions and come out with a win.
What was ultimately the difference, you think, regarding how you decided to play the lanes in the finals in your two matches versus, how you saw the lanes set up or, as you guys maneuvered through 8 games of qualifying? What was that difference for you in the finals?
Just during the day, I've learned more about how the lanes were playing, and I just used that in the finals match.
You get into some close matches, obviously, of course, the championship. Are you a score watcher? Did you know what you needed before the 10th frame started?
I'm really not a score watcher, but sometimes I like to look just to know what I need.
Did you know you needed a mark?
I did,
Okay,
yes.
so what was that mindset? It's like, if you can give people advice on how to approach those situations, what would you say?
I didn't let it get to my head. I knew if I just made a good shot that, I couldn't do anything better. If I if I had a bad break, I couldn't do anything about it as long as I threw a good shot.
I know you're said this before, but you got a lot of decisions that you'll be making about your future coming up soon. But just kind of describe how what that experience right now is like for you. I know it's hectic, but have you found some way to have fun regarding your collegiate recruitment?
It's definitely stressful, but I do have 2 sisters that bowl in college, so they are kind of helping me figure out everything and helping me take my steps into my collegiate career. So I think having them by my side is what's really helping me the most.
Excellent. All right, you got a spot into the regional showdown. It's a long way away from here, but it is in December. One might imagine that if your schedule is clear, we might see you in Florida. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you got a chance to win a regional showdown in December. I talked to you before the match or before the stepladder finals began. You said if you could win this one in your home state, that would mean a lot. You've done that now. So what exactly does it mean to win a PWBA regional title right here in North Carolina?
It means a lot. Like I said earlier, I did not see myself in this position. And considering where I was a month ago at team trials, having to pull out because of an infected finger, I think just seeing how far I've come since then is pretty amazing.
What's next on your schedule?
I think I am bowling a Tough Shots over in Charlotte. And then I'm watching college tournament, watching my sisters bowl.
Okay. And your sisters are, just for the record, so people know who you're talking about.
Emma Stoll, that bowls at Arkansas State, and Grace Stoll, that bowls at NCA&T.
Wow. So it makes your decisions even harder.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Phenomenal job. Great bowling. And we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
That is Caitlin Stoll, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to that champion. A first of many for Caitlin Stoll. And again, Annalise O'Brien, she's going to win a ton as well. It's one of those things, folks. Only one player can win it. And today was Caitlin Stoll. Next month, it could be Annalise O'Brien. Who knows? But next month's regional is indeed in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Bowler X, the Sants. Putting in work to host professional events, and we will be there at their wonderful place. Steel City Bowl and Brews is the next regional on the schedule. That'll be March 9th, 2024. Again, March 9th, 2024, so get your calendars ready for that. Folks, what a day. What an opportunity to be and witness what really is youth greatness at its finest. Caitlin Stoll defeats Annalise O'Brien 200-183, and she takes home the PWBA Mooresville Regional. Of course, you know how it goes for me. A lot to tear down in a little time, and then speed off, not really speed, but get to the airport. Get to the airport in the proper amount of time. So having said all of that, we certainly say good evening for now. I do want to thank Damon Sirocco, our tournament director. Again, big thanks to our proprietor, Paul Crines, his son Ben, and the entire staff here at Victory Lanes. What a moment, what a day for the Stoll family. Two sisters who bowl collegiately, and that big-time collegiate decision looming, but she's got plenty of time. Get used to seeing those two folks. That's the future of our sport, and we look forward to seeing all that they will do in their collegiate and professional careers. Hope you enjoyed the U.S. Open on TV. If you didn't get a chance to see it, be sure to enjoy it on your DVR. Next up for Bowl TV, more PBA action. We will come to you live from Bolero and Mount Prospect on Tuesday morning for, I believe, Block 1 of qualifying. I will be there in some capacity along with Mike Flanagan and Brian Kane. I think Tom Hess will be there as well. I think Leah Zweig will be there, and maybe Curtis and some folks that I'm not sure. But I think I can make it as well, so we figured that out. A lot happening, folks, on a solo day, but thanks to Damon for handling his end. I did my best to handle mine. We got ourselves a champion. Big thanks to our gold partners here, Brunswick, GoBowling.com, Kegel, certainly Lane Talk. The scoring is amazing after seeing it in person, getting a chance to work with it, and Storm Bowling. Want to thank Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the PWBA. Want to thank the United States Bowling Congress and the USBC Board, the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, and the BPAA Board. And certainly the PWBA athletes, non-members and members alike. What a time to be alive and watch the best in women's bowling and the best in youth bowling at that moment. And, of course, you, the best bowling community in all the land, the Bowl TV community. For Damon Sirocco, and our entire crew and staff here at Victory Lanes, my name is Emil Williams Jr. We say so long for now. This has been a presentation of the PWBA Mooresville Regional. You watched it live and only on Bowl TV. Bowling lives here. Good night, folks.